Well, thanks for stopping back by the shop today. We have a 1981 Yamaha Maxim 650 that we picked up for a song and a dance for, I think I've got about 300 bucks invested in this with a title, and hasn't ran in 20 years. Now, usually on this channel, I'll buy a bike like this. You and I'll get it running, and then I'll give it away. And that's exactly what we did. We gave it away to our son who just turned 16 and has been wanting a bike most of his life. And I think this will be a good bike for him.
This one? This is big.
Yeah. Now we'll change all, we'll take that front wind jammer off, we'll take all that stuff off, we'll make it like canvas. What do you think? So let me get you in here, we'll walk around and look at it and just start. Is it going to run? I don't know. So welcome back to Butler Customs Motorcycle Shop. Make sure you can see yourself in the camera.
I can't see that good.
Okay, well, you need glasses then. You need better glasses. All right, well, this is Abram, my little son here, who's 16, just turned 16, and this is going to be his first bike. And so he's excited to help along with us in the shop today to get it running. We do have carburetors for it. It kind of looks like a Mad Max kind of bike. Got a radio, radar detector. So let me give you a walk around on this. Wait till you check out this tank. It's pretty cool. I think he wants to save on this tank. So if it's in good shape inside, then we're good to go. But let's take a walk around it. All right, it's got this big wind jammer on it here. Look at the artwork on this tank. Pretty cool. I've never seen bars like that. I don't know if you have or not. I do not like them. I don't think they look good. But once we get that wind jammer off, I don't know. It might look okay. If you're interested in this wind jammer, you can pick it up for the sweet deal of come get it out of my shop. And there's a chrome fender. Now the motor looks like it's in, pretty good shape to be setting for 20 years. We do have the carburetors. There are 4 inline carbs. It does have the shaft drive on it. Don't know if you're a fan of the shaft drive or not. I prefer a chain only because if you've ever ridden a shaft drive bike, you know that when you go in a curve and then you get on it to come out of the curve, this will stand you almost straight back up because of that shaft on this one side. It's direct power. There's no, chain that absorbs any kind of slop in the power. So you can see here by the tags, it was 2003, March of 2003. So last time this was tagged, and it has been sitting for a long time. My son got excited and come out here and kind of cleaned up the tank and stuff. But once we get this tank off, it'll look pretty cool. I think the guy's name is right here. So if you know B or by T.E. Lawrence, probably out of Tennessee somewhere. That's his artwork there. We'll probably be getting rid of this whole unit. Definitely the radio, but we got to see if the radio works first. We got to jam out. And of course, we'll be getting rid of this big wind jammer. We'll probably, depending on what Abram wants to do, we may be getting rid of the rear hole peg section here. Now it does hold up the muffler, so we'll have to kind of fabricate, leave part of this bracket here. And then if he wants a bobber seat, of course it won't have a rear seat at all, but we don't know. He might want to, you know, pick up a girl and ride her around. I don't know. It's got the highway pegs on it. We'll see if he wants to keep those or not. You know, the pipes, usually when you get old bikes like this, the pipes are just absolutely shot and rusted out. But these are actually pretty good shape, pretty good condition. So let's see if we can get this bike running today. And where do we start? All right, so you just bought you a bike, hasn't run in 20 years. What's the plans? Exactly. We don't got no plans. But let's see if we can throw a battery in here. We did pick up a new battery. Let's rotate the wheel over, make sure nothing's locked up. Now, I will tell you, when I went to pick this up from the guy that owned it, he had it in gear and we didn't know it. And we went to push it and the wheel rotated because it's shaft drive. So I know the motor's not locked up because it was rotating with it in gear. But let's just go through the process. The rear wheel's on the center stand already. It came with a center stand. We'll probably be taking that off. We'll pull the plugs and look at the condition of the plugs. If we want, we can run a scope in, not necessary. And then let's get a battery in here and see if it'll crank with the buttons that we have. See if there's any electrical issues. That's important. Now this bike did come with a bunch of parts, and one of those was an old school helmet. Now this helmet, I would not wear it riding down the road. It's because there's no padding inside it. But I have a pinstriper guy here local that's, man, you talk about a talent. And he said, if I get him this helmet, he will do a design, old school design for free to give away to one of our subscribers on our channel. So you could win a hand detailed, painted, I don't know what he's just going to go wild with it. And of course, I'll probably compensate him for his time and paint. But this is going to go home to one of you guys as a gift, just for being part of the family on our YouTube channel. So before we start getting into this, thank you so much for all of our subscribers. I can't believe that you guys support me like you do and just love hanging out in the shop with me. And to all of our new folks, just thank you so much for being a part of it, for liking, commenting, subscribing. Even our live videos, hopping on and talking and asking questions. It's really cool. So without me rambling on, let's get into this. Let's go ahead and take this seat off, Abram. Go on the other side. There you go. Pull it off and just set it somewhere. Now, I did look at the wiring. It looks pretty complete, you know, just besides some kind of, you know, wire connections together. And I believe the majority of these little fuses and crimped in things are for the radio and the power up there for the radar detector. So I don't think we're going to need much of those if we're going to take that windjammer off. Windjammer's coming off. All right, windjammer's coming off today. But I do want to throw some power to it, just see what we got, maybe. But before we do that, let's make sure our motor's good, which I kind of know it is. I'll put it in gear, Abram. You're going to grab that tire and turn it, if you're on this side, turn it clockwise and see if we can get the motor to rotate. We might have to pull the plugs, but I'm not sure. So we'll put it in our highest gear. Okay. Wow, this is a reverse, okay? Unless, let's see. Yeah. Okay. So this bike here we just found out is different than a standard one down, then neutral, then 2, 3, 4, 5 up. This is backwards, Abram, so you're going to have to get used to that. It is first gear up, then all the rest down. So we'll get it in, let's see. There's first gear, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay. So it is a 5-speed, but the gears are all the way down. Now, Abram, see if you can turn a tire.
Nah, it's locked up.
No, it's not locked up. See if you can rotate it.
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, well, let's pull the plugs in. I'm going to take your plug wires off. Kind of keep up with where they go. Okay. And then we'll get these plugs out of here. Let's go ahead, since we're going to kind of be working down on the motor some, let's go ahead and get this tank off. Okay, so let's look around and see how this puppy comes off. It should just lift up. There we go. All right. Now I did see some wiring underneath the tank, so it does have a fuel, I guess, level. But if we're going with a custom speedo gauge, we won't use that. With the wires, spark plugs off, let's get our plugs out. So go grab you a socket. Looks like maybe an 11/16 on these. Looks bigger than a 5/8. We'll go ahead and pull these old. Ain't no telling how long that's been in there.
Oh, that's good.
Bigger. And while Abram's pulling these plugs off, I'll show you what it kind of come with. We got a little luggage rack carrier or third person. Comes with it. Got what is this? Seat cover. Velvet. What? Velvet seat cover. We won't be using. Has some stock, looks like air box stuff. We won't be using because it did come with these, but they're in pretty rough shape, these air cones. So we'll probably be replacing these. They're cheap. Let's see. Oh, there's your rear pegs. So, all right. If he wants to keep the rear seat, we got rear pegs. And some springs and hoses and bolts and whatnot. And then most importantly, here's our 4 inline carb. So I did kind of look at these. You can see these are stuck open here. That's frozen, that's frozen. So we will have to rebuild these, but they're here. Man, if these didn't come with the bike, I wouldn't have bought the bike, because these are worth more than the bike and what I paid for the bike. So we will be rebuilding these. They look to be in really good condition as far as no cracks.
There's the first one. That's the second.
All right. Now on the motor, I count one,
So this is 3.
one starting over here, 2, 3, 4.
That's 3 and that's 4.
So this is 3. All right. So here's the plug for the 3. Got quite a bit of carbon on it. Okay, so when they're black like this, Abram, that's too much fuel. Okay, so this thing was getting a lot of fuel in it. Go ahead and pull those other plugs in. So plugs 1 and 2, kind of the same deal. Very fouled out. So if this bike, whoops, if it was running, it was running really bad. Got it in gear. Let's see if we can turn that wheel now with the plugs out. Okay, could try to go back the other way. No. Oh, there we go. We got something out of it, didn't we? All right.
So enough. Keep going.
Keep going. Oh, yeah. All right. I'll try to go the other way. Okay, that's good. With the other way, it has this alternator and starter that might be binding it, going clock off. So we know the motor rotates. Now we could run a bore scope down in there just to check out the cylinders, and I think that might be a good idea to do here. So let's get the scope out, Abram, and see what we can see on the pictures. It's up at the top. 1 and 4 is up at the top. Okay, looks pretty good. All right, so with the bore scope, everything looks pretty good inside it. Okay, so at this time, we're not going to put the plugs back in. Instead, we're going to grab the battery, put it in, see if we have ignition, see if we have lights, just power to the things we want to see having power to. So go grab the battery. I'm looking over all the wiring and it looks pretty much, factory. I don't see any messing around. Oh yeah, just kind of hand tight, or not hand tight, but wrench tight. All right, now we will go with the hot, and then we will walk around and smell for smoke. Now let me put it in back in neutral. If you want to go ahead and turn the key on. Now I have to take it out and turn the key around. It's an old key, so be careful with it. All right. We do have lights. We've got neutral light. We've got an oil light. Let's see if we don't have any kind of high beams or low beams. Let's see, do we have turn signal? No. Oh, we have a left turn signal wanting to work and a right turn signal wanting to work. Do we have a horn? No horn. No headlight. All right, it is. See if this is on run or stop. Can you read that up there?
It's all rubbed off.
Okay. I would say that's run. So go ahead and push start and see what we got. Nothing? Okay, I'll switch that. Nothing. Okie doke. Well, we got some electrical work to do. Don't know what that is. What is that? Huh. Okay, I hear something clicking down in maybe one of the relays or something. This is all that stuff I was talking about here that looks like it might go up to the front. Hit that switch again, Abel. Oh. Okay, hit it again. All right. Do it again. All right, stop. This wire right here is getting pretty warm, and I just wonder if that has something to do with that one right there. Is not even connected. It's come out. See, that's why I hate these things right here, guys. I hate these because they don't last. Soldering is the only way to go on. I'm just telling you. Okay. So what do we want to do now? Let's put a compression tester on these to make sure we got good compression on all cylinders. Okay. Okay, so here's some updates. We pulled the plugs, you saw that. We looked down with the bore scope, everything, cylinder walls look good. We did put compression test on it. It didn't do that great. Cylinder 3 had 90 pounds, wonderful. The other ones had around 40 and they weren't holding. So I'm hoping the rings are just kind of stuck together. And that's our cause, because this thing, as far as I know, hasn't ran in 20 years. And so it'll need time to warm up, let them rings get around there. Check spark. We have no spark across the board except for cylinder 3. So we looked up here at the coils and we immediately noticed this connector going to one of the coils. It's got one of these. I'm telling you guys, these wires right here, look at that. These little connector things, no good. No good at all. So we are going to start with this, making sure that we get spark. We may even pull the coils off, clean up this ground here, because these have to have good ground. And with all this rust here, they're probably just not making good ground. So we do have some wiring issues we're going to need to work through and work around, at least to get spark. But we do have spark in coil 3, but not coil 1, which is kind of weird, because I think 1 and 3 work off the same coil and 2 and 4 work off the same coil. No, 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. So if we got spark in 3, we should get it in 2, I believe. Don't quote me. Tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. But this right here goes to this coil, and this goes to, what is it? Is that 4? Yeah, that's 4 and 1. So we weren't getting anything to 4 and 1, and that makes sense. And then this other coil goes to 2 and 3 on this side, and we were getting some out of 3, so we were probably getting some out of 2. I just didn't see it that good. So we'll look at those again. And again, these are terrible. Don't do this, guys. These things are just, they're junk to use. Don't use them. Please learn how to solder, or get those those soldering things that you just twist your wires together after you put them on there and then heat them, and it's got the soldering inside it. Do that if you don't know how to solder. That's an easy way. So we're going to fix these wires, see if we have spark. We're going to just shoot some Come Alive juice in here just for the moment. See if we can just get it to burp off on us. If we can, then we know we're good. It does have oil in it. Looks like it's overfilled. Smells like gas. So my guess is they fouled out all those plugs trying to get it to crank. Gas ran down, got in the oil, because you just didn't have good spark here. And that would explain the fouled plugs. So we're going to spend some time getting these coils good, wired, grounded, see if our spark improves. Because we got a live hot battery, so it should be really good. Then also, we're going to just spray some go-go juice in here just to get it to like crank off just for a second. And then, if that goes well, then we're going to start either on our carburetors or just start getting all this junk off. But we do need to check the radio. All right, no, we're not going to crank. We're going to see if we can get a radio on. So go ahead and turn the radio on.
Got no idea where that would be at.
Okay, probably got nothing. No kind of power. Oh. Well, the only tape that I could find was my wife's Dirty Dancing tape. So I don't know if that would have been good to play in there or not, but I don't know if there was anything. No, there's nothing in the cassette. We should get power to it because we got pretty much power to everything else except headlights. But okay, let's go ahead and turn the key off. All right, all we're looking for is just a little burp from them. That way we know things are gonna go live. Keys on. And get ready. Not yet. Go. Yeah, no spark. Let's pull a plug and just make sure these plugs are firing because they're pretty fouled out. We kind of temporarily fixed the wires. Of course, we're not going to leave them like that. So we do have spark from the wires. They're not, they're not great. We didn't clean up the grounds. We probably need to do that. But yeah, these are fouled pretty bad. Let's see if we can even get a spark off of one of these. Okay.
You ready?
Yep. All right. No spark. So these plugs are toast. They've just been probably tried for so long to start. So we need some new plugs. So we'll run to the parts store and grab some plugs and be back at it. Looked up in the manual and it looked like they have these, they had these coil wires or spark plug wires run where they don't need to be. They were out of order. So the way this is, the coil on the left side of the bike feeds cylinder 1 and 4. Now they fire at the same time, so it doesn't matter which one you run to 1 and 4 as long as it comes from the left side. The right side runs from 2 to 2 and 3. Doesn't matter which side you run it to because they fire at the same time. So they had the spark plug wires out of order. We've got new plugs in now, And now all we want to do is just hear it bark off a little bit. Then we know we're dealing with a good motor. All right, give it a crank. Yeah, ha ha, success. Fired up, sounded healthy. I had to starve it out a little bit with some hands over it so I didn't get so much air in it, but we have a running motor. So now we're going to work on the carbs, rebuild those, slap them on, throw some gas in the carbs. We should have a running motor. Also, we got to get rid of this ugliness, this wind jammer. The radio don't even work. The radar thing doesn't work, and who needs that today anyway? So let's get rid of this. I'm going to let Abram start working on taking that off, and I'm going to start working on rebuilding the carbs. Okay, so while I was rebuilding the carburetors, Abram was taking off that wind jammer, which looked to be factory. I mean, the brackets here are factory mounted and welded to the frame. So I don't know, do they come like that? You guys tell us. We got some fuel just running off this bowl here. We got our spark plugs in, and the spark plug wires now ran the right way. And I think we're ready for a test fire. Now, we did notice there's the cable bracket missing for the throttle, so I'm going to do it by hand down here instead of him doing it up there. The choke, I'm not even sure if it works or not, but as far as I know, I don't see anything leaking. The carbs look to be in pretty good shape. They were just dusty and dry. All right, turn the key on. All right. Fill the muffler. Alright, hold on. Well, that's about as much as we want to run it with that old oil in there. I do want to crank it up again here in a second, make sure it shifts since we got the wheel up, which I assumed that it would, but success. We got it running. Didn't have to do hardly any wiring at all. We will replace, oh yeah, that's just where the air filter's not on. Once the air breathers get on, we'll have to adjust the idle as well. But we will be getting rid of all of these little connectors. There is this harness here that was for the wind jammer, so we'll be deleting all that. We're going to get rid of this as well, probably, and just get him a little speedometer there, if that's what he wants. And we'll wire in the turn signals and all that. So a lot more to come on this bike, but hey, we've got a runner. So let's fire it back up. I shouldn't have to give it any throttle now. So fire it back up and we'll see if it'll kick in gear. Got first. Second, third, fourth, fifth. All right. With it running like that, once we get the bracket figured out for your throttle and the choke situated, which you might not even need, we could probably take it down the road.
Today?
Put the tank on, throw the gas in it. But yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to get that. Let me show you what's going on. Maybe you guys can help. What we've got here is, let me get this out of here. We've got this, there's a throttle, I guess, lever there. And then here's the cable. So I'm not sure if there's a bracket that's supposed to go on here that is missing. Or what, April? Hold on. I remember when I took this apart, there was another bracket. Go look on my desk and see if there's another bracket. I think we just forgot to put the bracket on. It should be on my Bible.
Yeah.
Well, there's mystery solved. Well, there you go. Me and Abram have successfully got this bike running that hasn't ran or been on the road for 20 years. And I'm surprised. I usually have a Yamaha curse, and I hate Yamahas, but maybe it's you don't have a you have a Yamaha blessing. So we still got a lot of work to do. The diaphragms and the carburetors pretty much shot. They had tried to glue them and patch them together. One of the needles was kind of cockeyed, so we're just going to do a whole rebuild kit on the carburetors, get him some new air breathers on there, do a little bit of wiring fix up, get a headlight bracket, get a different odometer, speedometer for him, change some tail lights around. He did go ahead and chop off the back, and we'll get rid of this windjammer bracket here. We haven't even addressed, brakes or anything yet. And he's got some ideas of what he wants to do, a bobber seat maybe, or keep it two-seater, maybe a king and queen. He's going to build a custom sissy frame. So what I'm saying is when this bike's done, it's going to be cooler than Tom Cruise in a convertible. And that's pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not. So thank you so much for hanging out in the shop with us today. Can't believe this was so simple to do. And really, really surprised, really blessed. As far as I know, when I'm listening to it, all cylinders are firing. As we're getting good exhaust pressure, we're getting good flow through the carburetors. We do have to change the oil and things like that, but I haven't checked to see if the battery's even charging or not. But everything seems to be going well on it. So thank you so much for stopping by the shop today, and tell your mama now I said hi.